crafty friends, welcome to Wombat Hollow Crafts. I'm Gail. This is my little corner of the YouTube universe where I talk about all the crafts that I do, mostly cross stitch, but other times other things like quilting, diamond painting, hard hanger, and that sort of thing. So happy New Year! It is Wednesday, the 1st of January 2025. I hope you had a great New Year. Celebrating it however you wanted to celebrate it. Sorry, I have to have coffee. It's early in the morning here. If you didn't celebrate it, I hope you had a really good restful night's sleep. I actually had a really good New Year. Shane is away working in Canberra, doesn't come home until the middle of next week. So I logged on and spent a lovely few hours seeing in the new year with my lovely and dear friends, the Rebel Stitchers. So it was really, really great to be able to catch up with the ladies and have a laugh and a joke around. It was really, really good. But we'll get on to the life stuff later on. So it is our December wrap-up. What did we do in December? So the stats for December. So I worked on 2 projects in December. I had no new starts. I had 1 finish. So you know what that means. No FFOs. So yeah, shall we start with the finish first of all? All right, so my finish was Quaker flag by Vivsters. This was a downloadable PDF purchased off Etsy. I did mine on 28 count white even weave with the DMC thread as recommended. This was done as a sale that I co-hosted with the lovely Nicole from Divana Lee Design Studios. Both Nicole and I were very, very surprised at how quickly this took on, and floss tubers and cross stitchers from all over the world have been doing this. So if you see people mention the Quaker flag sale on videos or anything like that, yeah, this is a sale that was co-hosted with Nicole from Divana Lee Designs and myself. So this was started on the 26th of January 2024. I finished it on the 21st of the 12th, 2024. I never want to see another skein of 930 again. Now, just to give you a heads up, I stitched mine on 28 count, so it's really, really big. However, I purchased all of the recommended DMC thread as per the the skein recommendation on the chart, and I had 7 full skeins of 930 left over. Now, I'm not a conservative thread user at all. Like, I'll be stitching away, and if I stitched mine diamond by diamond, that's how I completed it. And if I had a length of thread like that long, I just threw it away, So I'm not here to play thread chicken with stuff like that, but I still had 7 full skeins of 930 left over. So, yeah. But anyway, let me bring this out. It is huge. One of my lovely friends, Sharon, the Sydney Stitcher, keeps asking me on Instagram when I'm going to install the flagpole at the new house to put this up. It is big enough to go on a flagpole. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet, but anyway. I don't even know if you can see it all. I hope you can. Here it is. I think I just vaguely can see through the thread, so I think you can. It was lovely to stitch. Mind you, I was getting a little bit tired of it at the end because I was stitching it non-stop. The one thing I did find, it is a computer-generated chart. There was a few errors in it. However, I'm a planner. I'm a plotter and a planner. So what I would do as I was stitching one diamond, because I had this on Pattern Keeper, as I was stitching one diamond, I was keeping an eye on the next diamond, and I was working out in my head how to stitch it so I had the least amount of stopping and starting, having to cut, rethread, etc. And as each of these squares are symmetrical, each of these diamonds, are symmetrical, I very quickly saw where there was like an extra couple of symbols here or symbols missing here, and I just fixed it as I went. But we'll give you a close-up. So that's the Union Jack portion of the flag. Then we go down to, again, I'm really sorry, I can't see what you're seeing. That portion. Okay, and then we'll show you can we get the, we can get the rest of the flag in. Very, very beautiful design. Viv, you've done a fantastic job. I don't know how I'm going to finish this yet, whether I'm going to finish it into a long pillow to go onto a bed or to frame it. I don't know. I don't know yet. So there's no rush to make that choice. So that was my finish for the year. So there were lots of other lovely floss tubers that are stitching that, and I look forward to keeping a keen eye on all of your progress. And people are still tagging both Nicole and I in their Instagram photo updates, which is really, really lovely to see that progress. All right. The second piece that I worked on was a current WIP that I had. And this started out as a sale on the 1st of the 1st, 2024. It's the Yuletide Garden Labyrinth by Carolyn Manning Designs. Downloadable PDF from the Carolyn Manning website. Now, I started this as a sale with my lovely Rebel Stitches. We all started a Carolyn Manning design. Michelle was the only one who didn't do the Garden Yuletide Labyrinth because it wasn't, the Yuletide Garden Labyrinth, because it wasn't one of her favourites. But she had lots of other Carolyn Manning designs in her stash, so she started one of those, but the rest of us did the Yuletide Garden Labyrinth. Now, the lovely Jenny _stitches on Etsy, she finished hers back in September. If you want to see a beautiful rendition of this stitched, find Jenny _stitches on Instagram and go and have a look at her post from September. It is absolutely stunning. It's beautiful. She stitched hers on a very, very light green, very pale green colour fabric. Beautiful. Our other friend Leanne is stitching this as well. Now, Leanne is Stitchy Moon Crafts on FlossTube. She has just recently posted an update video and she shares her progress on that. She is stitching hers on a piece of hand-dyed fabric by Nicole from Divana Lee Designs called Wicked, and it is a mottled green colour, like a sort of darkish green colour. Again, beautiful, just beautiful. Now, this is how bad my memory is sometimes. Nicole shared hers last night on Rebel Stitches on our New Year's Eve Zoom. Do you think I can remember what colour fabric hers is on? I want to say a blue colour, but I know she's also stitching Snow Village, which is on like a blue hand-dyed by her. But I want to say she's stitching on a blue hand-dyed, but I could be completely off base. So if I am, I'm sorry, Nicole. And she's done fantastic progress. Now, I'm stitching mine on 28 count even weave in the colourway Vanilla Latte from Jay's X Stitch. Jay is a fabric dyer in the Illawarra here in New South Wales in Australia. She is on Etsy, Jay's X Stitch, and her fabric is just beautiful. I have lots of her fabric. It's dyed with all natural, all natural products, so you can't wash it. But her fabric is absolutely beautiful to stitch on. I have lots of her even weave and lots of her linen, but of course it's all packed away because half my house is packed away at the moment. So yeah, I pulled out a piece of that. Now, when I pulled this out, I was only at, it was around 4%, I think, when I pulled this out. What I'll do, I'll show you a photo of where it was before I started stitching on it this month here. So you can see I'd only done a tiny bit. Now, I have been very surprised at how quickly this is stitched up. So I am now at 25.46%, because again, this is on Pattern Keeper. I've done 6,254 stitches out of a possible 5,650 stitches. You'll have to excuse this. I have kept it in the Q snap, but I have just unclipped the top so you can see what I've done, because I've got it in the perfect position for stitching. So this is where we're up to. So beautiful chart to stitch. Somewhat symmetrical colour changes, which has been a real delight after stitching on the flag and stitching the colour 930 for what seems to be like months on end. So this is where I'm up to. Now, eagle-eyed viewers will see that this purple is different to this purple, which is different to this purple. but I'll tell you the story about that. But I'll give you a close-up of where we're at with this one. So at the moment, I'm working on these two little blocks here, and the halfway point of this design is sort of a little bit under the middle of this block here. That's probably about halfway there. Now, what I had originally planned to do was do all of the border blocks, because this runs all the way down the bottom and around with this red scalloped edge. So I thought, okay, I'll do all of that, and then I'll come back, I'll do the middle. But then I realised I'm going to be constantly changing the Q-snap. I don't want to do that. Like, that just wastes stitching time. So excuse me for coughing, I have major allergies, and our neighbour across the road has got a massive, great big wattle tree in his front garden, and it is in full bloom. Like, all you can see is a sea of bright yellow amongst the green, and I'm highly allergic to wattle. So even though I've taken antihistamines and whatnot, I'm constantly coughing and sniffling and whatnot. So I do apologise for that. So what I've decided to do is I'm going to completely stitch this top half, and then I'll move the Q-snap down, and I'll do the same thing in repeat. I'll do all of the border blocks, I'll do all the red, and then I'll stitch the inside, but I'll probably start from the bottom up. This one I'm stitching from top down. So yeah, so that's where we're at. So yeah, I've stitched about just a little bit over 21% on this since I think I finished the flag on the 21st, and I picked this up and did a few stitches. So from the 21st through to the 31st, that's 10 days, I've done like 21%. So hopefully this is in the starting roster for my January stitching. So hopefully in a couple of months this will be done. I'll share more of that in plans. However, let me tell you the story of this. So as you can see, this is a lot darker than this, right? So I'm merrily stitching away. I had already stitched all of these. Now, when I stitch these, I stitch the purple insert first, then I stitch the white, and then I do the green. The green, there's a tiny little stitch in the middle, and then there's these sides. So that's how I stitch each of these blocks. So the first thing I stitch on these is the purple. So I'd stitched all of these, I stitched these purple, and when I got down to stitch these, I realised I only had enough thread left to stitch these three. So I go into my stash, because I've got all of my DMC that's all sorted and everything else. I've got them in huge big fabric under the bed totes, and I've got 6 of them. They're currently sitting at the end of the dining room table at the moment. They are going to be one of the last things that goes down to South Australia about a week before we go down there ourselves. So I sorted through there. Did I have, I think it's 3802. I did bring it with me, 3802. Yeah, 3802. I'm like, oh, gee. So anyway, Shane was home. So Shane goes, look, I have to go down to Mittagong. I've got to go to Officeworks, and there is a spotlight right next to Officeworks. If you text me the thread number that you need, I will go into Spotlight and I'll grab it for you. And I'm like, okay, not a problem. So he comes home and he goes, oh, here, hun, I got your thread. Oh, excellent. Thanks, Dale. I looked at it and I'm like, this is the wrong colour. Like, oh my goodness. Did I text him the wrong colour number? So I had a look. No, I texted him the right colour number, and I looked at the tag on the thread. No, that was the right number. I'm like, why is it so different? Let me show you. Now, when I originally had this thread, I had bobinated all of my threads. Now, I've been stitching for 37 years. Yeah, 37. No, it's more than that now. It's 39 years. This year I've been stitching 39 years this year. So way back when in the day, I used to bobinate all of my threads. I don't do that anymore. But thread 02, and these are the off-cut bits of the original colour I used, was this colour here. Now, could I have put the wrong DMC thread on the bobbin? Sure, that's possible. Major rookie mistake, though. I've never done that in my life before. So I think it's highly unlikely that I would have done that now, but it's possible. I'm not ruling it out. So that's the DMC thread that I had. This is the colour that Shane got. Look at the difference. It's huge. Sorry, and there's one of my hairs there. Look at and it's still there. Oh, sometimes my hair's just so attractive to things, you know. Look at the difference. That is a huge difference. I couldn't stitch with this after stitching with this. So what I did, I pulled online a DMC thread card, and normally what I would have done, I would have waited and gone to my L&S because they have the full DMC range on show, and I would have picked out, like I would have taken this and put it across and looked at the nearest. I didn't have that. So I pulled up a DMC thread card online and I looked. Now, the closest that I could find to it is 552, which is this. Now, it is a little bit lighter. For the life of me, I couldn't find anything close to this. 550 was way too dark and way too regal. This was the closest I could find. So I am going to continue stitching these little purple inserts in the 552. Anywhere that colour is on the chart, I'm just going to do 552. Now, this is just a piece for me. I have no plans to like FFO it or do anything like that. I'm just stitching it because I like it. It will go into my unfinished box of stitching. A lot of my stitching that I'm doing now, unless it's small pillow ornaments, unless there's small pieces for pillow finishes, for dough bowls, or for ornaments, I don't have any more wall space for it. So I'm just stitching it because I like the process. So this is going to go in that box. It's for me. So yeah, that's why you'll see the difference between this and this. So that's where we're up to. So that was my stitching for the year. The stats for the year. So I'm going to have another sip of coffee. I've got a dry throat. And that's because of the antihistamines and the all of the pollen in the air. All right, so the stats. I started off let's go back a few other years because I have a 5-year A Line a Day book that I've covered in Harry Potter stickers. And what I do in here, like I've got on my laptop, I have computer records back to August of 2019 is when I started keeping records. I've been stitching for a long time since then, but that's when I actually started keeping records. But I thought I want to keep a little something so I know what I stitch each day, and I've got it all in here. So in here, I have got everything that I have stitched every day from 2022 onwards. So I've got 2022, 2023, 2024, and I've got space for 25 and 26. So at the end of 2022, according to my little mystical book of magic, I had 42 WIPs. As at the end of 2023, I had 26 WIPs. As of yesterday, at the end of 2024, I had 15 WIPs. So that's huge, like huge. So at one stage, I had something like 54 WIPs, which like it's not a big deal. Like everyone's WIP count is their WIP count. I don't care, you know, if you have loads of WIPs. I love it when people have loads of WIPs because it means that the WIP parades that I watch, and I've been watching lots of WIP parades lately, these WIP parades are like an hour and a half to 2 hours long, and I'm there for it. I'm loving it. Personally, I don't like having that many WIPs, but there was one year I did something like 15 starts for Spooktober, and Nicole from Divinely Designs, it's all your fault. It's your influence. But I've whittled it down. Now, I started the year with 26 WIPs. I had 30 starts. I also had 30 finishes, but I also permanently UFO'd and adopted out 11 projects, and I ended up with 15 WIPs. I have decided life's too short to stitch, to have stuff sitting in the cupboard that every time you go to the cupboard, you feel guilty because you haven't stitched on it. Now, those 11 WIPs, I did love them, but I had no desire to stitch on them anymore. My tastes have changed. Some of those WIPs went back many, many, many years. Stanley is not one of them. I'll get onto Stanley in a second. So yeah, so I fully adopted out 11 projects. They went to local stitchy friends, and I've had progress photos of where they're at, and they're loving it. So they're getting stitched on, which is what they deserve. Whereas here, they had been sitting in the cupboard sometimes for several years and hadn't been stitched. And as I said, I still did love them, but I just didn't have any desire to stitch on them anymore. So, and I've got so much stash, so much to stitch on. So yeah, that's where they went. Stanley. Now, I've had lots and lots of people ask about Stanley, both via comments and via direct questions via Messenger in Instagram. Stanley is fine. He's lovely. Stanley is now in a very sturdy bag in a pallet tub that has been shrink wrapped, and he's waiting to go onto a semi-trailer to go down to South Australia. So Stanley is very safely packed away. Stanley, if people are watching this for the first time, I am doing a full coverage designed by Heaven and Earth Designs, original artwork by Randall Spangler, called The Fish Juggler. I have called him Stanley. Stanley has been on the go since 2010. It's a long time. He will not see the light of day this year because it is Christmas 365 in 2025. I'll get onto that in plans. And but he will be making a huge comeback in 2026. Now, you know me, I'm a planner. I was on with the Rebel Stitches last night, and I sort of had some tentative plans for 2026. I know we hadn't even started 2025 yet, and I'm already planning 2026. But, you know, that's what we cross stitches do. We plan. So I was on, and the lovely Nicole said, I said, you know, this is what I'm thinking of doing because I really want to try and get Stanley finished in 2026. But he has just under 60,000 stitches left to go, which is a lot of stitches. I'm at like 75% because he's on Pattern Keeper, so I've got the stats. And she said, yeah, that's a great idea, but how about this? I'm like, oh, that's a great idea. So we're still sort of mulling around and nutting out 2026 plans, which, you know, we'll talk about that closer to the end, towards the end of this year, as to what we're planning on doing. But I think we have a really great plan in place now for 2026. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. But we're in 2025, so let's talk about our 2025 plans. So yeah, I have 15 WIPs. I will not be doing a WIP parade this year because all of my WIPs are packed except for one now, which I just showed you, which is the Carolyn Manning Yuletide Garden Labyrinth. That's the only WIP I have out. All the rest are packed. But the breakdown of my WIPs, I have 5 WIPs from 2019 and prior. I have 3 WIPs from 2020. I have 1 WIP from 2021. I have 2 WIPs from 2022. I have no WIPs from 2023. And I have 4 WIPs from 2024, which is a total of 15 outstanding WIPs at the moment as we speak. So that's all the stitching. Let's go on to plans. So plans. This year I am stitching Christmas all year. The hashtag on Instagram is Christmas365 in 2025. If anyone wants to join me, or if you find yourself stitching a Christmas piece anytime during the year this year, and you want to hashtag it on Instagram, that would be brilliant. It's going to be so good to see everyone's Christmas stitching this year. So I currently have worked out a roster for my Christmas stitching. And, you know, whilst I do enjoy, computer programs and whatnot, I really like old school paper and pen. And if I can get coloured Sharpies, I have a massive big 30 pack of coloured Sharpies, and this was a great excuse to pull them out. So these are my plans. So Christmas 365 in 2025. So I am going to be stitching 4 projects per month, 7 days each. So if there's any extra days at the end of the month, we're going to stitch on week 1's project. So week 1's project will run from the 1st to the 7th. Week 2 will run from the 8th to the 14th. Week 3 from the 15th to the 21st. Week 4 from the 22nd to the 28th. And any months of the year that have any extra days, which is the 29th to the 30th or the 31st, they're extra days, we will stitch on whatever project 1 is. Now, all of these projects are what I'm going to start the month with. If I happen to finish any of these projects during the course of the month, I will pull out another project from my tub of Christmas projects that I have here, and I will insert that into it. Now, there's been some changes to the working to this roster. One as recently as yesterday. I am a shocker. I really am. But this is what happens when you watch all of the WIP parades and you see, I normally stay in my own lane. I stitch my own things. I get influenced by my close stitchy friends. But otherwise, I generally tend to stay in my own lane. But I was watching a WIP parade yesterday by an American stitcher by the name of Snickerdoodle Stitch. She had a WIP parade that was just over 2 hours long. Hello, I'm there for it. And I'm watching, and I'm sort of stitching, half watching, I'm watching it on the big screen. So I've got one eye trained on the TV, one eye split between the stitching and the laptop, because, I've got a laptop on a little table. Like, how my eyes don't go of their own accord is beyond me. But anyway, so I'm watching and I'm like, what was that? Rewind back on the TV and I'm like, oh, I like that. Rewind back again. No, I love that. Thanks very much. Pause the video, go to the computer, go onto Etsy, purchase that chart. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. So this is our starting bench for January. So January 2025, week 1, which is the 1st to the 7th, we'll be stitching on Yuletide Garden Labyrinth by Carolyn Manning Designs. Week 2, which is the 8th to the 14th, we'll be stitching on Gingerbread Express by Shannon Christine Designs. Week 3, which is the 15th to the 21st, The Cute Our Bookmark by Sweet Annette. Week 4, which is the 22nd to the 28th, Magical Snowflakes. This is the fella that came into my life yesterday, and I am obsessed with him. Wait till you see, it's beautiful. By Designer Counting Puddles. And then the extra days, the 29th to the 31st, we'll be going back to Yuletide Garden Labyrinth by Carolyn Manning Designs. So let's pull these out. I won't, show you the stitching again, but, this is what we're going to be stitching on from the 1st to the 7th, and again on the 29th to the 31st, which is Yuletide Garden Labyrinth by Carolyn Manning Designs. You've just seen where I'm up to. So that is project 1. Project 2 is Gingerbread Express. Now, this is a 9-part series by Shannon Christine Designs. I have already stitched part 1 and part 2. I am up to part 3. Now, I've got this on Pattern Keeper. I have printed out black and white copies, but they're dull, you don't really see the colours. So I am going to put a photo. I'm going to insert a photo of what part 3 looks like here. As you can see, it's very beautiful. I'm stitching this on 28 count black even weave with all of the recommended DMC threads. The only thing that I'm doing, I'm substituting the French knots for tiny little pearl seed beads, which I'm going to stitch on at the end. I am stitching this in one continual piece. So I've already stitched parts 1 and part 2, and that's what we've done. It's very, very pretty. I just love how the colours pop on the black on this. My lovely stitchy friend Therese is stitching this on a beautiful willow sage green colour. It is gorgeous. She is nearly finished part 3. It's beautiful. It is beautiful. So we have that one. Now week 3 is, move that over here. Week 3 is Cute Our Bookmark by Sweet Annette. So sorry, I should have said week 2 is going to be a new start because they're different designs. So part 3 is a different design. That'll be a new start. This is also going to be a new start. This is Cute Our Bookmark by Sweet Annette. I bought it as a complete kit from her Etsy store. That is what it's going to look like when it's finished. Very, very cute, very sweet. And I love her charts because she gives you the chart. There's a lot of back stitching in this, which brings it to life, as you can see. What she does, she actually provides you with the chart without backstitch, and then she does another copy of the chart with backstitch, which is really, really helpful because sometimes the backstitch covers over the symbols, so you can't see them properly to stitch. So that's really helpful. It has loads of colours. Look at all these colours. So this is what it gets stitched on. It's a timber form. There's the felt to go on the back with like a multitude of needles. And this is all the threads. So this one hopefully shouldn't take too long. I really wanted to make sure that I kept like a small project in. I have quite a few small like little Mill Hill and Satsuma Street perforated paper kits in there. And after we move and I have everything all sorted and everything else, I have got a big tub of Mill Hill Christmas ornaments, the tiny ones to stitch. And I've got loads and loads of Doreen Jones charts to stitch. So, I have them on PDF as well. Like I've got them on my laptop. So if worst comes to worst and I sort of run out of tiny little things, I can pull one of those up and pull some fabric out. But that's what we're up to. Now, week 4, Magical Snowflakes by Counting Puddles. Now, I haven't even printed this out yet. So what I'll do, I will insert a photo of Magical Snowflakes by Counting Puddles here. Isn't it gorgeous? That like backstitch black work, array of stars like a rainbow above his head. Beautiful. And do you know that design has only 8 colours in it? 8 colours. And that black work rainbow design of stars above his head is just different combinations of those DMC threads. Just stunning. Gorgeous. Now, my LNS is closed for the Christmas and New Year holiday time period. We go back to Wednesday night stitching groups on Wednesday the 8th of January. And of course, I don't have any spare fabric. All my fabric's packed. I do have some black 14 count Ada in the box, but that has been cut specifically for Shane stocking, so I'm not going to use that. So when I'm at my LNS on that Wednesday night, I'm going to get fabric. The model was stitched on 14 count navy blue Ada. If I can find that at my LNS, I will get that. Otherwise, I will stitch it on black and get all the accompanying threads. So that will be another new start. So this month, I will have at least 3 new starts this month. So that will be very exciting. And then on the 29th to the 31st, I'll be stitching Yuletide Garden Labyrinth again for another 3 days. So that's my January plans. I highly doubt that any of these will be finished in January because obviously Yuletide Garden Labyrinth, I'll be working on it for 10 days. I got 21% done on it in 10 days, but, it's only at it's just over 25%. So there's no way that's going to be finished in the month of January. So I'm sure that will be a continuation over. Gingerbread Express, there's no way that will be finished because it's a 9-part series. I've only stitched 2 of them. I've got 7 more parts to go, so that won't be finished. The Cute Our Bookmark, it's only small, but I don't think I'll finish that in the month, but who knows? And then Magical Snowflakes. There is a lot of stitching to that, especially the snowman, but who knows? Look, 7 days, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? You're going to have to come back and watch the February update as of the 1st of February to see what we're doing. So that's all the stitching. So if you're just here for the stitching, thanks so much for joining me. You know, if you don't want to stick around for my other craft and my life update, fair call. Thank you so much for hanging around for this length of time. I will catch you on the 1st of February for my next update. So see you later. All right. For those lovely people who are sticking around, my other craft I've been doing is my diamond painting. Now, I'm still on that same piece by Richard Lorenz. I will insert a photograph of the original artwork of this piece here. It's gorgeous, isn't it? Absolutely gorgeous. Now, this is quite a large piece. My plan is to also do Christmas diamond paintings this year as well, but I have a firm rule that I only diamond paint on one piece at a time. Otherwise, it gets way too chaotic. Yeah, I don't even want to consider looking at getting diamonds mixed up and that sort of thing. So I will continue on this piece until, I say this piece because it's on the table here. I'm resting my little hands on it as I speak and feeling it because I love running my hands across the diamonds where they've been laid down on the canvas. I will continue this until it's finished. Then I have 2 diamond painting kits to replace it with afterwards. Now, let me just grab these. They're just behind me here. So I have 2 that I kept out when we packed everything. And I'll show you what these are. So the first one is a Randall Spangler piece. It's called Santa's Surprise. It's a round diamond painting. It's 50.7 centimetres by 70.6. I'm sorry for the glare, but this is in plastic. And I don't want to unwrap it in case I haven't finished this by the time we move and I've got to, chuck it in a truck. So that's where we're up to. That's where we're up to. That's what the thumbnail's going to look like. Now, I have quite a lot of Christmas diamond paintings in my stash that I have packed, but I've kept these 2 out because even when we move to the house, the new house, it's going to be a while before we fully unpack everything because we have to have custom shelving built, and we're not going to unpack everything just to have it shoved in boxes at one side of the house and like having to sort through stuff all the time. We're going to leave it in the palletized tubs until we get the custom cabinetry made, especially for the craft room. There is going to be one whole wall of open shelf cupboards, and that's where these are going to go. So they'll be packed for a little while. And we have to sell this house here before we can get that custom cabinetry done because it's going to be quite expensive. So, yeah. This one is called Watching Santa Go. By Marcelo Cordy. It's 56 centimetres by 84 centimetres. And it's little puppies sitting there watching Santa fly. So I thought that was really, really beautiful. So I have those 2. All right. So, yeah, that's where we're at. If I haven't already said so, I will insert a photograph of my current where my current diamond painting is at here. Hey everyone, this is just an update video of where I'm up to on my Diamond Art Club painting. This is called Family Circus, original artwork by Richard Lorenz. It's a square diamond painting. It is 70 centimetres by 93 centimetres. It has 64 colours and 5 ABs. So when I saw you last time, I was up to sort of here. As you can see, I've done quite a bit more. So I love the expressions on their faces. This one especially. I'm working on it upside down at the moment, and it's really funny because when I was doing these, I couldn't quite figure out what they were. And then when I turned it the right way round, I figured out they were bow ties for their hair. So they're really pretty flower. So yeah, this is where we're up to. It sparkles and sparkles. Sorry, it's tipping over on one side because of how big it is and where I've got it, but you can see where I'm up to. So hopefully there'll be more progress for you to see next month. Apologies if I've already said that twice. It's been 40 minutes already. But anyway, life update. Where are we at? So work, busy. Payroll at Christmas time is always busy. It's crazy. I've got several team members that have been off on holidays, so that's been very, very busy. And then as far as the dogs go, Gracie has had to have her medication for her Cushing's disease upped a little bit. She has to go back sometime at the end of January to have more blood tests done to see whether or not upping it by that 0.1 of a mil is going to help her. She's going okay. She's still not very well, but she's going okay. And Ebony's quite fine, and the boys are the boys are fine. So house-wise, for here, all of the outside of the house, we have a brick house, but all of the eaves and the fascia and all of that sort of stuff had to be painted. So a couple of weeks before Christmas, I had the same painting team that come and painted the inside of the house when we renovated, because we fully renovated the whole inside of this house. And the same team that painted the inside painted the outside. They did that in 2 days, which was fantastic. So it looks really fresh and vibrant. This is a sort of a colonial style brick house, and we've had a couple of real estate agents come around to do valuations, and they all said take the shutters off the front because it really dates the house back to the 80s. So we did that, and it does look a lot cleaner, a lot fresher. Never mind the fact it also saved me lots of money because the painters didn't have to paint shutters. So that was a win-win. The house down in South Australia, so Shane has done so much work. I'm so proud of him, so proud of him. So the last time I spoke to you, he'd done all of the sheeting on the veranda on the front, and he'd put 2 sheets on the roof. Now, thankfully, as far as I'm concerned, he quickly realised that putting the roof sheets up was a difficult job. Anyone on a roof is a trigger for me. When I was 13, my dad had a workplace accident back in 1986, and he actually fell off a roof, and I was actually on the building site with him that day, and I was there, and I turned around and saw him mid-fall as he fell off the roof. So anyone on a roof is a real trigger for me. So knowing he was down there and he was on his own, I was beside myself. I was extremely stressed and very, very nervous and extremely anxious. And he finally said, "Look, I've tendered it out, and there's a team of roofers who do this sort of stuff all the time because the house is very straightforward. There's no cutting in gables or anything like that." They said they can come and do it like within 4 or 5 hours done. I'm like, really? He said, yeah. So the team came out one Sunday. They had a team of 3 fellas. They were crawling all over the house like monkeys. Got it done. Bingo, bango. Beautiful. Since then, we've also had all of the solar panels put on the house. So we are now, even though we do have electricity, we are now also fully off the grid. So we have, I think it's 48 solar panels on the roof of the house. We have another 16 panels on the back side of the 3-car garage, which in the photos I'm going to share you can't see because obviously, we've got a static camera looking at the house and the back side of the roof of the garage. You can't see that. So that's all done. Shane has installed all of the windows and all of the door trims. He's also installed the massive, great big sliding door in the dining room. We have a huge sliding door in there, which is one massive, great big pane of glass and another movable door. So he had to build that, put that all together and install that. He's also installed all of the tracking trim all around the bottom of the house. Because we are actually cladding our house in ColourBond, on the horizontal, it has to have something to sit on so that all of the sheets are level. So he's going to put all of that tracking all the way around the bottom of the house. He's also put the tracking around all of the window trims. So when he does put the cladding on, it will slide straight into the window trims. Now, we were hoping to have the house fully clad before he came up home for Christmas, like just before Christmas. We didn't get to that stage because the winds down at South Australia where we're building were really fierce, and he couldn't be like, manhandling big sheets of ColourBond because he would have been like a kite. It would have taken off. So, and I said to him, look, just leave it as it is, get everything prepped. So when he goes back, he can do that. So what I'm going to do, I have several photos from when the team of fellas were on the roof clambering around. I've also got some photos of when the solar panels were being installed, what it looks like after, and what it looks like now that all the windows and everything in. So I will insert all of those photos in a photo montage here. Isn't it beautiful? I cannot wait to be down there. So when we're currently working in Canberra, he comes back home early next week, and then the semi-trailer is booked to take the first load of pallets of stuff down there, and then he'll fly out to South, or he'll drive down to South Australia the next day. So he'll be there to meet Joel in the truck. So we estimate we're probably going to have a couple of semi-trailer loads. And before you all start going, semi-trailer loads, oh my goodness, don't forget my husband runs a business from home. He has a massive, great big warehouse down the bottom of the property, which has a mezzanine level. He has loads of stuff. So this very first load is a combination of things that I have, like I've packed 9 huge big pallet tubs from inside the house. I also have loads and loads and loads of boxes, and I also have loads of those great big striped bags. So Shane's also bought metal, big storable pallet tubs, and he's put all the bags in there and shrink wrapped them and all of that sort of stuff. So the first load of stuff will go down there middle of next week. Then we have more. We're probably going to have another semi-trailer load to go down there because we're not putting any furniture on this load, and of course we're not taking all of the furniture from here, but there's enough. So yeah, we'll get there and do that. I've fully packed the house now, except for when I say fully packed, I've fully packed the house of everything that we're not using. So we're sort of camping style now until we move. And I've only got 2 kitchen cupboards left to pack. So I'll do that this coming weekend. And then that's the whole house packed then. All we've got then is stuff that we're using, and we'll pack that, like a couple of days before we go. So we're hoping, we're looking at a re-estimated time frame now, maybe of March. But as I said to Shane, we'll be in when we're in, right? Like, it's one of those things. So I told him, enjoy the process, build safely. We will be down there when we're down there. But every time I look at the cameras, I get so excited because I just want to be down there. Yes, we're not going to be unpacking everything straight away. But, once we've sold here and we get the custom cabinetry done down there that we need to, and we can fully unpack, I'm going to really enjoy it. It's going to be a great space. It's just, I'm really, really looking forward to living down in South Australia. But the one thing that has happened is my car is now a registered South Australian vehicle. My car is a company car from Shane's business, and it was due for registration at the end of December. It makes no sense to register it in New South Wales when in a couple of months' time we're moving to South Australia and it has to be re-registered. So I now have South Australian registration plates on my car, which takes a little bit of getting used to when you're in a car park somewhere and you walk past, you think, oh yeah, that's my car. It's been quite interesting. But other than that, life has been good. I really can't complain. I've got a roof over my head, food in my stomach, great friends, and a beautiful husband that I don't see as much as I would like to, but I have been able to see him over the Christmas time period. So that was really, really lovely to get to spend 4 or 5 days with him over Christmas. And I've got my lovely pups here that keeps me company. So that's me done for my December wrap up. Join me again on the 1st of February when I do my January 2025. Got to get in the habit of saying 2025. When I do my January 2025 update. Until then, stay safe. Happy crafting, whatever it is that you do. I hope you have a great month of January doing some crafting. And I will catch you all on the 1st of February. Happy stitching. See you later. Bye.